Ladies and gentlemen, Sit Down Zumock Podcast, SDZ, up in this bitch. I am Florida's greatest comedian. I don't have to tell you this. You know it. You've heard it. You've seen me live. It is what it is, people. I call it like I see it. Florida's greatest comedian. With me is Tyler, coming straight out of Memorial Day, where I hear he was grilling, having a good time with the family.
That's right. Like I said, like an American, just out there, some brats, some hamburgers.
Just like a true-blooded American. Red, white, and blue.
I even started a fire. Look
at you.
Uh-huh.
That's a fucking man. When a man starts a fire, that means you're a man.
That's right.
Was it a bonfire?
Yeah. I mean, not that big, but yeah. Full-blown fire. I had to use a hose to put it out and everything at the end of the day.
I grew up in the Brady Lake, which is right next to Kent, for a majority of my life before we moved to Twin Lakes. And it was kind of known as the white trash part of Kent.
It kind of is.
It was like the official home of the bonfire. You go down Brady Lake Road, there's bonfires everywhere. Everyone loved the bonfire.
God.
Friday and Saturday night, there was a fucking bonfire going down.
That's the way to do it. Was that just like families, or was that college kids though?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved there. How old was I when we moved? We moved there like I think was in the 7th grade, and I left when I was 17, and then they moved to Twin Lakes, the rich part.
Oof.
So I got to experience all of Kent.
Yeah, there's a golf course over by Twin Lakes.
We lived across the street.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Never played there though.
And it's only like 9 holes. It's like a shitty country club. Yeah, it's a shit country club.
So there used to be one over there, like by the high school.
Yes.
And I don't think that's there anymore. But that one, when I was little, I did play at.
I think it's called Oak Knolls, and I think they took half of it, and that's down to 9 holes too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, a dear friend of mine, Ben Dunlap, who is I think the athletic director at my high school, Kent Roosevelt High School, his wife Carol worked there. So we used to get free golf, and I wasn't a good golfer.
Son of a bitch.
I just like driving.
Me either.
I like driving the carts.
Still like playing. Yeah, the carts. That's the fun part. Drink and drive.
Drink and drive. Hey, do you follow golf?
I like watching. You know, I know like some of the guys. I could not tell you like where their position ranks are and anything like that. But yeah.
Well, what's Tiger's story? I know he got in that horrible car wreck. They almost had to amputate his leg, and he came back. And
he came back.
And does he suck?
No, I mean, he's still Tiger. He's still doing all right. I don't think he's ever going to like win it all again, but yeah, he came back, I think, for the Masters and played through, I believe. And whatever, like the thing is as long as he can just like hobble his ass out there and play and just can still get sponsorships, he's fucking fine. You know what I mean? Like,
so that's all it is. It's just as long as he gets sponsorships, we're good to go.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
I don't blame him. He has a son that plays, right? His son's like pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know the age of his son. It could be 8. It could be 12. I don't know. But his son is far better than me. And it's upsetting. But I guess like that's what you would expect from Tiger's offspring.
Well, they always say that. But then you look at Michael Jordan's 2 sons. They sucked. They went to college, but I think they didn't start. They weren't that good.
That's interesting. I didn't know anything about his kids.
Yeah, Marcus and the other one. I think Marcus owns a shoe shop in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course he does.
Yeah, he sells Jordans for a living. Good for him. Good idea.
He gets a discount.
Yeah. Dad, I'm gonna sell your shoes.
You can own, whatever business you want. If you're Jordan's kid, like you could be in the red every month and like it's going to stay open.
Yeah. If my dad was the greatest basketball player in the world and we had shoes called Zumocks, you're damn right I'm selling Zumocks.
Sounds like it could be a shoe.
That sounds like a road less traveled. I don't got to put all that hard work in to live up to your legacy. Fuck that. Like LeBron James's kid, Bronny. He's good, but I don't know. Is he ever going to be LeBron James good?
We'll find out. He'll certainly make it to the NBA.
Did you ever think about naming your son Tyler?
No, but I thought about like Tylee or Lurley. It can't just be Tyler, or it could be Tyler Lee. Just trying to think like what's, because it's not LeBron Jr., it's Bronny.
It is LeBron Jr., but they just call him Bronny.
Fuck, is it really?
Yeah,
that's how much I know about. Okay,
his legal name.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's some weird narcissistic thing naming your kid your name. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I know some juniors out there, but I think it's really weird whenever it's like, oh, I'm Tyler Sopcich the fourth. We are just completely not creative. What's this kid's like? What is it? George Foreman.
Yeah, all his kids' names are George.
George. Is it a boy? Yeah. No, it's a girl. Still George.
Yeah, that's pretty narcissistic.
That's wild.
I wonder if any of his kids sell grills like Michael Jordan's kids sell shoes.
They're all on the board, actually.
We got a Foreman grill store here in Orlando next to Jordan's shoe shop, where George Foreman Jr. sells grills and Michael Jordan's kid sells shoes. But yeah, good to be back. Thanks to everyone. I got a last minute gig in Cocoa Beach. I know Sandy, a lady. I always like when the ladies sign up to the Patreon. If ladies are listening to the show, we're doing something right or wrong. I don't know. But yeah, it was a last minute booking at Gregory's. I had 2 shows, wonderful shows. They went well. Thank you for coming out. There was a couple that drove an hour and a half. I forget their names because I'm a piece of shit. I apologize. But thank you for coming out. It was a lot of fun. It was great. So much fun. I went and saw Top Gun 2 again.
Ooh, I just watched Top Gun 2 nights ago.
Oh,
the original.
Okay. Here we go. This is what Tyler and I are going to do from now on. Since Tyler and I have a little bit of an age difference, and Tyler's, we text, we think of ideas. I'm going to give Tyler a weekly assignment. He has to watch a movie from my generation that I grew up on. That means something to me. And Top Gun is one of those films. And with that being said, what do you think?
First you got to keep in mind that it was shot in the 80s. So it's
86.
86. So you're just like, some of this shit is just like not great. Even the cuts back and forth from them up in the sky to the guys on the ship. Like, what are they doing up there? Yeah. Just like the whole storyline was like really shitty, but I don't know what to compare it to because you can't really compare it to shit today. Other than that, it was fine. It was fine.
There's a lot of cheese without a doubt, but you got to remember, I'm 5 years old. I'm watching this thing. I'm renting it on VHS, and you got the soundtrack, you got the action. There's to me as a child, it's fantastic. Right. It's definitely a product of its time, and it definitely is dated and aged. But the sequel, my friend, is something.
See, that's why I watched it, because I wanted to see the first one before I watch Maverick. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick, and they honor the first one, and I gotta be honest with you, I think it's a better film all the way around. The action sequences are way better than the ones in the 80s because they're actually in the jets.
Are you upset that they supposedly didn't shoehorn Meg Ryan and who's the other one in there into the new?
Well, there's no spoiler on this one because it's out there. Iceman's in it. Correct. He comes back and he's a major plot point.
Right.
There's a somewhat of a cameo of Meg Ryan from a flashback, but and this is not even a spoiler. It's about his relationship with Goose's kid, who's now in Top Gun. Okay. And they have a very troubled relationship, and he has to teach us. It's a whole thing. So it's interesting. They did a good job honoring the first, and I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. So much fun. I saw it again. I had it. Well, the thing was that I checked out of my hotel and I had from 12 to 8 to kill. And I'm walking around Cocoa Beach and it's so hot. I'm like, I'm just going to go see Top Gun 2 again because it's fucking hot.
Just needed air conditioning.
Plus, I enjoyed it. Good film. I don't mind going to a movie theater and putting down 15 and getting that experience and enjoying it. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I love movie theaters.
Movie theaters rule. When they said they were in trouble and streaming, I go, fuck that. I'm going to the movies.
Damn right.
Damn right. I had an interesting week last week. We were texting about this, which leads us into the mailbag. Everybody,
Ooh.
if you want to jump in the mailbag, you can easily email me, chadzumock3@gmail.com. Send me a DM on the Patreon or anywhere. I will pick the best, well, not necessarily the best, the most interesting mail, and I will read it on air. And as you know, the last 3 episodes, they have not been good, the ones that I've picked. In keeping with tradition, I picked the best one for this episode. And the subject title, "You're a Piece of Shit." That caught my attention.
Oh.
I'm like, all right, what do we got here?
Great.
I'm going to read this. So I open it up. He goes, "I agree with the last couple episodes." Well, they're listening. So that's good, right?
There you go.
Last couple episodes, the emails were spot on. You guys are totally misinformed. You don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, podcasting isn't for you guys. But he has to listen to my Patreon. He didn't say he did, because I did a special episode where, and I'll explain it if you haven't listened or if you heard about, I got a strange DM and phone call from a former friend of my past. And if you're up to speed in the comedy world, you kind of know her as one of the, I guess, successful female comedians, Whitney Cummings.
For sure.
And as you know, I've had her sister on and we've trashed her, said a lot of nasty things. And I've been saying nasty things about her for a long time, ever since she threw Lia under the bus, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he says in the rest of this email, Whitney Cummings is worth $30 million. That story is a complete lie. You've never met her.
Oh, shit.
She wouldn't want anything to do with you. You're barely an open micer. And this is from Rex. I don't know if it's
Rex.
I don't know if it's Rex Chapman, because I don't know who it is. But I read your email, and like I said, thank you for taking the time. He's obviously listening, and he had to, because I put that up on my Patreon, the Whitney thing.
Right.
So I didn't put that up publicly. So he's on the Patreon, and he might be trolling. Maybe he's like, maybe if I trash him, he'll read it. It worked.
It worked. There it is. Rex. Way to flex, Rex.
So I was texting with you and you heard it. Basically, Whitney Cummings, from out of the blue, sends me a DM on Instagram. And I got to tell you, I haven't spoken to this lady in almost 15 years. And when we were like open micers and hanging out, we were tight for like 6 months. I've been to her apartment. She's been to my place. We carpool, we go to a diner. And I've said this over the years. And for some reason or another, she mysteriously reached out to me, concerned about what went wrong between us. And I kind of put it out there, kind of figuring out what the fuck is this all about. Here's the, just give you an idea, just if you're watching on the video, like, here's the proof.
Oh, wow.
They're DMing me.
Yeah. It's a long one.
Yeah. So.
And it is her like verified account, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can, hold on.
So you go there. Do they do blue check marks or what? Yep. Okay. Yep. Wow.
So go fuck yourself, Rex. That's her, cunt.
Wow, that's really long. So have you gone back and forth, or I'll just let you continue on here?
Well, you sent me some text and I go, not a bad idea. I won't say what you said, but maybe something will come out of that. Then I sent it to another comic friend of mine, and then I sent it to her sister. And then I sent it to Lia.
Oh,
because I go, what the fuck's this all about? And because I started with Chris too. We all start around the same time.
Does Chris still have a relationship with her at this point, or not since then? Did they mend things?
And I'm not throwing him under the bus because he didn't say anything like that's newsworthy, and he kind of kept it. And I'm not going to say what he said word for word because it seems kind of like scummy on my end.
Yeah.
Basically, he gave me some advice on what I should probably do, and the advice was he goes, you probably should ignore it. But I will say this. He goes, I haven't spoken to her. We don't have a relationship.
Oh, okay.
So he left it at that. And his advice was like, don't say anything. And I started thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll just let her hang out to dry because there must be some sort of motive. I mean, like Rex said, she's worth $30 million. What the fuck does she want me for? Then I started thinking, well, I had her sister on the podcast. Is there something on in the background?
Here?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I was hearing something. You got the birds in the basement?
Came in through the vents. No, nothing here.
So I sat and I thought about it. I pondered and I sent her a DM and essentially said, "Hey, Whitney, I'm not going to," because she says, "I'm going to regret sending you this." And I go, "No, I'm not going to let you regret it. I hope you're doing well. I don't hate you. I guess, we had some miscommunication. I miss our good times of starting too. We were so young. I was happy for your success. You blew me off at that Jeff Ross DVD release party. I probably could have handled that better. Because you might have been going through things. And then when you threw Chris under the bus, I was kind of pissed. We started together. Chris helped me out with my career, gave me gigs. So I thought that was kind of bullshit. And I left it at that. I go, best of luck to you. And then she writes back, and I'll just paraphrase. And then I left my phone number. I go, if you want to call. So she calls first. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
And we talk on the phone for a while. And if you ever listen to Whitney's podcast, she was essentially doing a monologue. I was going, yeah, sure. Yeah. Anyways. And she was being nice and she's going through something. She says she's dealing with stuff. And then, we talked for a long time and we talked about other things. And then she, we left on a good note. She goes, "This is my phone number." She goes, "If you're ever in LA, let's grab," because I told her I moved to Florida. She didn't know that. And then she wrote me a long message back saying that was great. It's been too long. You've matured quite a bit, whatever that means. She obviously doesn't listen to my podcast. So I don't know.
What did her sister have to say?
Don't believe her. I guess they're going through a lawsuit. We come to the conclusion that she saw the podcast I did with her sister and she's trying to manipulate the situation. I don't think it's coming from a terrible place, but I think she's been in that meat grinder forever. I mean, she's essentially made it in the business. She could retire today and live happily ever after. So for her to be worth as much and know everybody in Hollywood to reach out to me, there's got to be something more going on, because who gives a fuck about me 15 years later just because we started open mics? Like, who cares about me? Nobody. Right. My own fans don't give a shit about me. The only person who cares about me is Vinny Cash. That's it.
Not Rex. Not Rex. Not Frank.
Oh, yeah. Frank and Chrissy, they don't care about me.
Well, nonetheless, that's interesting.
But right? me and Tyler had I'm not going to unveil our behind the scenes plans, but we might not be out of this and we might get something from it.
That would be interesting.
I'm gonna sit on it this week.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. If she wants to use me, I'll use her. Let's do this. So that's the update, Rex. I do know her. I've known her from the beginning of my comedy career. I know everybody. Let me tell you something. I know everybody in comedy. I just didn't play the game well, you fucks. It's the reason why I'm in Tampa, because I don't play nicely. Anyways, I sent you this article because I'm doing a bit in my act about this transgender swimmer, Lia Thomas, and she's my favorite athlete of all time. Fucking love everything. I mean, she's blowing away these bitches in the pool, man. They can't keep up with her. I mean, she's on fire. So she's been somewhat quiet about the whole thing. And she just did a whole piece on Good Morning America, telling her side of the story, giving her truth, if you will, like Hannah Gatsby. And did you read it? Did you see it?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah. And Good Morning America, they're tiptoeing all over this like they don't know how to handle it, because you got, they're trying to be compassionate. Obviously, they want their page clicks, but on the flip side of that, they're trying to support her. But I'll just read a little bit of the excerpts here. Lia Thomas, I keep calling her Thompson. Thomas is a transgender woman who generated controversy by competing in the women's swim team at the University of Pennsylvania. She plans to keep swimming with the eye on the Olympics. So she wants to go to the Olympics as a woman, even though
I think that if they allow her, she's going to do quite well.
She's going to fucking kill it. And I found out, I did my research, Rex. She has dick and balls still.
This is like more cheating than like the Russians could ever think of.
This is like what the White Sox, Shulos Joe Jackson. This is like Pete Rose shit.
Oh my God. Yeah. The Russia's going to be like, we didn't think of this. We're over here using steroids. We could have just been sending our mails.
Yeah. Like in Rocky IV, they're pumping steroids into Dolph Lundgren to fight 5'4" Rocky. You should have just took a fucking male and made him into a female and wrecked shop.
Done.
She told Lia Thomas she intends to keep on swimming. And then she tells Good Morning America, it's been a goal of mine to swim at the Olympic trials for a very long time. And I would love to see through. She saw a loophole. She used the wokeness to get to the Olympics. That's what I've been saying all along. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. She found a fucking loophole. So she's going to the Olympics because her love is swimming.
To win the game.
And if we're going to be fucking pussies and not calling us out like, oh, we got to be inclusive, then good on her. She's fucking using your bullshit to go to the Olympics.
I will bet. I will take a loan out just to bet in her favor if she makes it.
Oh, I'm getting a shirt. She needs a shoe deal, even though she swims.
A flipper deal.
She's like the female Michael. What's his name? The most Olympic guy who smoked weed, and everyone thought that was a
Michael
thing.
Phelps.
Yeah.
But Michael Phelps once dated a trans woman. So
he did.
Dude, I cannot believe how people don't remember this.
And she was trans at the time.
I believe she still had penis and ball. Like he dated Lia Thomas pretty much.
Wow. They should get together.
I think there could be something here. Could be a swim coach.
She was assigned a male at birth. Newsflash. She still is a male.
Still there. Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just saying, call me not woke, call me mean, call me insensitive. But when you have a dick and balls, you're a male. Thomas said she fell in love with swimming at the age of 4. But as she grew older, she felt increasingly disconnected to her body. I didn't like that I was a boy. I don't like that I have a beer gut, cunt.
Yeah, right.
It sucks. I know. You just got to deal with it. When I was a young kid, my mom would always describe me as a very happy kid. And then sort of middle school and high school, when my brain's not even developed, as I went through puberty, like anybody that age, this shifted a little bit with my gender dysphoria from being trans, but I didn't know or have the language to describe that. This is mental illness, right? I mean, what's your take on this, Tyler?
I would say,
am I insensitive for saying
no? Wouldn't you start with did Lia Thomas go to and visit any psychologists throughout this?
Well, she said she was barely barely going to classes and barely getting out of bed. I would say there's something going on. And then
she needs to listen to some more Tony Robinson.
She plunged into deep depression and struggled with suicidal thoughts. Guess what, bitch? So have I.
Right. I'll do that just from being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Because you know why? I gained a shitload of weight and I wasn't happy and I was depressed and I was drinking a lot. So I didn't start thinking, you know what? Maybe I'm a woman. Maybe that's why
Maybe that's the issue.
By 2019, at the end of her sophomore year, Thomas said she began the hormone replacement therapy, a gender-affirming treatment that is using female hormones to create more of a feminine appearance. Oh, she got him from the Cleveland Clinic. Anyways, she was on the men's swim team at Penn. Now she's on the women, and she's just wrecking shop. And she wants to go to the Olympics. So this is where we are, and Good Morning America has to sit back.
What do you think that men's locker room is like? Did you hear about fucking Mike over there?
And she changes in the females' locker room too, like full dick and balls.
She's a woman.
I like that Caitlyn Jenner came out and said, fuck that, dude. No.
Of course. It's not fair. It's not fair. And like I think we covered before, it can't go the other way. Right. So a woman couldn't go and join a men's sport.
She could, but she'll fucking.
No, she would get flagged for the testosterone.
Oh, okay.
She can't. It would be against the rules.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. You learn something new every day. Like, well, that's okay. There you go. But, Caitlyn Jenner at one point was considered the greatest male athlete of all time. He beat West Germany and Russia for the gold medal. He was on the Wheaties box. So he's like, fuck you. I did it. I had to be a man and win this shit.
They don't give that Wheaties box to anyone. Fuck
no, they don't.
That was important.
It was as a kid.
It was. Do they still sell Wheaties?
I was texting with my cousin. My cousin was by the way, shout out Ben Zumock, served in the military for over 20 years. Shout out to he was the Zumock who did it right. He had his shit together.
Had it together.
Good dude, good solid guy. And he reminded me I had a Bruce Jenner action figure when I was a kid. That'd be worth something.
Wow. Right? Did the feet run or like?
I don't know. I think it looked like a Barbie. I was playing with a Barbie.
It does now. The new one.
There's the clip. Speaking of second generation, you sent me this news article. Dwayne Johnson, who's a movie star, one of the greatest WWE superstar, has a daughter named Simone, and she's headed to the WWE. Is she wrestling? Is that what's going on here?
I believe so. That's what it sounds like. I mean, she's got her name, and that seems to be what the whole debate is over, is that her name is going to be Ava Raine, Avaraine. And people are up in arms that like there's no direct connection to The Rock.
Like, sounds like a porn name.
It does. It really does.
Well, I'm good on Ava Raine at the age of 20, just trying to make a name for herself. You got to respect that, right?
Of course. If it doesn't work out, she could open up her own gym right next to the shoe shop in Florida.
Yeah. What is she going to, what she call herself? The Rockette? Like, like, what do you want from this? So what? Right. Dolph Ziggler, who I know, I went to college with, his real name's Nick Nemeth. Former Kent State All-American grad from Lakewood City High School.
Yeah. I don't know what people are up in arms about other than just to be up in arms.
Everyone's pissed off. Everyone's angry. Everything's an outrage, including this. I mean, this should be the biggest story in the world, but no, we have to have school shootings.
Dude, that's a wild one.
I want to get into this because I'm going to be honest with you. It's tragic. It's sad. I understand you have children, and I can only, for any parent out there, one of the reasons why I won't have kids for a lot of reasons is because I had 2 dogs that died. It destroyed me. And I'm like, I'm never getting a dog again.
It's tough. It's tough.
When you bring a child into the mix and you see stories like this, I can only have compassion. And I didn't read a whole lot on this story because I just don't like it. Like we hear from Columbine, all these shootings. It's just, there's a problem going on with mental illness.
There's definitely that.
Totally.
There's definitely that.
And security within the school. So what happened? There's this transgender kid, I guess. Is he transgender or was that just
he? I don't know.
I guess there's photos of him wearing dresses. He had a lisp. He got picked on.
I didn't know those things.
He turned 18 and went out and bought
I did not actually look much into it just because, obviously, day of, when you're seeing updates or whatever, and it's like you just start seeing the number of children dead go up to I think 18, at least 18 is when I checked 19. Out. 19 children and 2 teachers. So when you see that, that's kind of where I shut down. Any sad story really about a kid, it's very hard for me to look into without my mind spinning out thinking what would I do?
Right. And then they show the photos of the kids, the there's a bunch of memes online. I'm like, oh
yeah,
Jesus
it's crazy.
Christ.
Yeah.
And then, and then you start hearing the stories about like the ones that survived this and they got to go back to school. Do they go? I mean, like, what do you do? What do you do?
That's the crazy thing about the kids that survived. I mean, how do you deal with that? Like a 10-year-old, right? That just saw this stuff. Like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
And I apologize to people watching this on video because I'm on CNN.com, which is the worst fucking news outlet of all time. But that's where I saw the story. And of course, they're going to try to make this political, and they are. But yeah, there's a mental illness problem in this country. Listen, I said, we're talking about depression. When I moved out of LA and then went straight into LA to COVID, I was depressed. I was going through shit. I went to therapy. I'm in therapy. I probably should be on medication, but we have a problem with mental illness in this country, and people want to run straight to the gun laws. Listen, guns are out of control. I don't think an 18-year-old should be able to buy the gun that he bought. If you can't drink when you're 21, you shouldn't be able to. They need to make it a lot stricter to get these guns. I'll give you that, but take away all the guns. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Just because, like, some of the memes I saw or whatever were talking about, like, oh, my 4-year-old took a stick and hit his friend, and that's not okay. And guess what? I didn't let him keep the stick. Sound familiar? It's like, no, it really doesn't. Because if you get charged for something like this and you're a felon, you technically can't buy a gun. The problem is you're still going to have access to doing it because there's a whole dark world. It's the same as that 4-year-old can go find another tree and will find another stick. So your point makes not a lot of sense. Yes, things need to be stricter, but how do we do that?
Well, I honestly, like, to be honest with you, after 9/11 happened, they put TSA in the airports. I mean, every time I go through an airport now and I fly less and less, especially with the rates and me not wanting to leave to go anywhere for shitty money. Every time I take off those shoes, because I refuse to get clear, I take off my belt. I say, fuck bin Laden, you fucking asshole. You just complicated things. You need to do the same with the schools. Unfortunately, we're at that point. You got to make it stricter to get into these schools. It sucks.
How did he get in? That's the thing. He just walked in.
I'm hearing a bunch of conflicting stories. I'm sure people are listening right now. Like, you guys are fucking idiots. I know I am an idiot. I didn't read a lot about it. I'm hearing stories that there was a door that was open. He went in through that door. The police chief would not let the police go in there. I'm hearing all kinds of shit. And I'm sorry I didn't read up on it. It's really sad. It's depressing. I don't want to read up on this shit. I hear about it all the time, and it's always the same shit. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be more school shootings. They're coming. If you don't think after 2 years of being shut down and the mental illness and everything else, if you think we're out of this, brace yourself, buckle up. We got a recession coming. We got more mental illness. We got more problems. And unfortunately, I'll go complete Tim Dillon conspiracy theory because it is at the end of the month. I don't want to lose Patreon. So here we go. The world, I'm talking the world, not the Democrats, not the liberals. They wanted Donald Trump out. Everyone, China, you name it. He was fucking up everyone's money, and they did what they had. They did what they thought they had to do. COVID. Let's get them out with COVID. Now we're dealing with the repercussions of that. We're dealing with the repercussions of being locked down for 2 years. Our economy, everything's a fucking mess. So we're going to We're going to have it all. It's all ready. It's coming. So buckle up, be ready, take care of your kids. Rackman.
Right. This is what you do. You go out, you buy stock in Smith & Wesson and any other gun company, because that's when people get scared that you're going to take away our guns, people buy more guns.
That's true.
And then aside from that, go get yourself a gun. If you don't have one, protect yourself, keep it in your house. Don't be one of those assholes that like to have an open carry permit and sit down at a Bob Evans with it for everyone to see. Like, that's stupid. You're looking for a fight, I think.
Because bottom line, I don't care where you stand with guns, but if you're a taxpayer, just a good dude, no criminal record, you got your shit together, you're a family man, and you own a gun, I feel pretty good about that. I'm good with that. But if you're a criminal, you have problems, you have mental illness, and you have a gun, I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have that. You shouldn't have had access to that. And that's what they need to look into. And I don't have any idea on where they could start, but I think that's what has to happen.
Oh, I just lost this news article. I don't know what happened to it. Well, that was bringing in the one you sent over to me because, here it is.
Which one's that?
Pull this one up because I used to want to go to Canada so bad. Now I don't.
Oh, this guy.
Canada introduces law to freeze handgun sales and ban look-alike toys. You know, when I was a kid, I had toy guns that look like guns, like M16s, 45s. They didn't have the red tip, legit guns.
Right.
So what's the story on this guy? Tell me.
I think it's just exactly what you said there. He's, they passed a ban to put a freeze on selling handguns. And the thing is again, what are you, why? Because if it's just a freeze, it means it's coming back. So you think that this is going to prevent some shootings for a little bit?
Yeah, it's like the COVID lockdowns. You can lock us down for like 2 months to flatten the curve, but it's still there. It's still going to happen.
Right. I want to flatten the school shooting curve.
Yeah, we're gonna flatten the school shooting in 2 months from now.
Well, what would be even crazier, what I don't know and didn't look into much about it, is like, when does it take effect? Right? Because if you're putting this publicity out here and you're saying that you've introduced this law. Okay, so you've introduced it. That doesn't mean it's passed yet, but what that does mean is that you have scared gun-loving people into going and buying more guns. Go buy your stock now.
So you're looking at it from the stock market standpoint.
Yes, and if you were a politician with money, wouldn't you do the same?
Like Nancy Pelosi?
Exactly.
Isn't she like working the stock market? Like, is she?
Oh yeah, I think she got caught. Yeah,
oh, she did.
Yeah, but
did you see her husband? You see her husband got a DUI. He's like 82.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
good for him.
If I was married to Nancy Pelosi, I'd be drinking too. He's like, fuck this. I'm getting out of here. But call an Uber. No, I'm leaving now, cunt.
I'm out.
Yeah, he's 82 years old. Here it is. I mean, again, there's people more informed than me, and I don't give a shit. I'm just reading as I go. When I see a headline, Nancy Pelosi's husband gets DUI at age 82, I go, all right, I'm on his side.
Let him have it.
The California Highway Patrol CHIPS. Bam, bam, ba-dam, bam. By the way, Tony Mazur met the cast of CHIPS, Eric Estrada, Larry Wilcox, over the weekend. So they released the details on a vehicle crash that led to the arrest of Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband late Saturday night for allegedly driving under the influence. I was allegedly driving under the influence, and I reduce it to a reckless operation. Shout out Kevin. What was my old lawyer's name? I used to give him a shout out at the end of my. Anyways, he was Bernie Kosar's lawyer too. He was great.
Hey,
CHIPS. California Highway Patrol said, I'm going to just say CHIPS because it's like cool. Said in a press release Sunday night that Paul Pelosi, the 2021 Porsche. Oh, he's right. What a cunt. 2021 Porsche truck in Napa Valley. By the way, can you make this guy any more hateable? He was driving a 2021 Porsche in Napa Valley.
Dude, sipping on that wine, just going through.
No injuries reported. Pelosi was arrested about 80 minutes after law enforcement responded to the scene, according to the agency. He'll get out of it. His bail was set at $5,000. Representative Pelosi told CBS News that he had been at dinner party in Oakville. This guy sucks. Until 10:15, then drove a short distance home. Yeah, that's what I said too. They added that he was fully cooperative with the authorities. Processing took until 7:30, according to TMZ. I mean, can we make these politicians any more hateable?
Hey, good for him. He's going to get out of it.
Dude, going back to gun laws, as we were talking about it, when I was in Texas, I think I was at the Houston Improv with Godfrey back in 2016. This guy took a video of us. We went to a gun store. Here, I'm going to play it right now.
Oh, shit.
It's online. But this is me and Godfrey at a Texas gun store, and this guy was fully ready to sell his guns. And I didn't I had my passport. He's like, I could sell with a passport, no problem.
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
So we're just asking, like, it was just like right there. Like we could buy whatever the fuck we wanted. So look at this. Godfrey pulls out, this is like a Dirty Harry.
Jesus. Is that a 45?
It's
Good
whatever
God.
Dirty Harry had. He was going to sell it to us. Godfrey's like, can I buy this right now?
Of course.
Look how big that fucking gun is. And he's pointing at me.
And that's like how, I don't know if Florida is still like that, but Florida, what used to be like, you could just sell it to whomever, whenever, like at like the private sales.
Yeah.
Just no background checks.
Yeah. And I was just saying, hey man, I got a passport. Can I get a gun? He goes, yeah, we could probably do that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, man. Look at all these fucking guns. This is us. We're dicking around. We're just dicking around.
Right.
There's me with a gun.
Did you put it in your mouth?
But I held like one of those, like, I think AR-15 or whatever. I held one. I could have bought one that day. Listen,
for sure.
I don't want to take away your guns. Keep your guns.
They're really not even that expensive.
Yeah. And a lot of people that do have guns, a lot of them are they're good gun people.
Right.
But make it stricter to get. That's all I'm saying. You don't want these fucking lunatics, this tranny psychopath, this cross-dresser who got mad because people made fun of him because he had a list blowing up little kids.
That's it. That's what just, it doesn't make sense. And there's no point in trying to think about it and wrap it around your head why someone would go into an elementary school. And prior to that, shooting and killing his grandmother, like that, you can't make sense of those people. So now let me ask you this. Like, how does that happen? Does kids go back to school? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're when you're, how old were these kids? Like 6, 7? Like, I think it said some of them are 10. So I don't know. It's an elementary school. I don't know what that age range is, to be honest with you.
Dude, just give you an idea. When I was on,
probably as young as 7 up to 10, 11, right? That sounds right. I don't know.
When I was on WMMS, I remember there was a school shooting on the east side of Cleveland. I forgot where, and I forget the details. My apology. There's been so many. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
So I tweeted out, I go like, and I read the news that morning on my Twitter at the time, and I just tweeted out, I go, like, you gave kids another reason not to go to school. Just like, because like kids already don't want to go to school. Now they have the ultimate excuse, like, I don't want to get shot. So I remember I got written up for that. Bo Matthews, like, this is a serious incident. We don't appreciate you making jokes. I go, I'm making an observation.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Kids don't want to go to school. Now they have every reason not to go to school. Oh yeah. I'm not going to get shot.
That's the thing. I don't know what I would, as a parent, I would probably look to change schools. What's the cost to go to a different school? What's the cost to get out of this fucking town? Like, what can you do to make your kid feel safe again?
Can they incorporate kind of like they do with podcasting and meetings, like a Zoom school for kids? Like, if you don't want to say, listen.
Well, sure. They've been doing that throughout the whole lockdowns, right?
But have kids in the classroom that want to go, that feel safe or confident, the families feel, or whatever the case may be, but also have a camera in there where the teacher is doing the program and you're on a Zoom, like they did in court. Like when I was in court, they had like people in the courtroom, but they also had people on Zoom.
Right. Yeah. I don't see why not. I think, like, again, I think they did that quite often throughout all the COVID lockdowns. So they certainly have that ironed out.
Yeah. And how about we take the $40 billion that we sent to your hometown, Ukraine, take a fraction of that, start buying some fucking metal detectors and some wands and waving these kids up and down before they walk in.
Well, now that would be an idea.
Where's school TSA? How come we don't have TSA at the schools? Just the airports?
It's coming.
You realize banks are better protected than the schools? Our money is better protected. PNC Bank right now has better security than your elementary school.
It really is an issue. I'm surprised. Like it almost makes me, and I'm not going to do this, but it almost makes me want to go to because my kid goes, he's out right now, but when he goes back, it's just a preschool, but it almost makes me want to go where I drop him off in the morning and just in the middle of the day, see if it's unlocked. Because if it is, that's a problem.
There's a school right behind my building. Gladwell knows what I'm talking about. They got 2 cops there on both entrances, and there's a cop by the door. Every day, ever since I moved here.
That's solid.
That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And give, rotate those cops so they each get a day off.
Yeah, let's put some, but we got to defund the police. So where do we stand? Liberals, where do we stand? Defund the police, more protection, less gun. Like where are we going, liberals? What's the solution now?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like as far as like make guns harder to get. It's like, well, then in that case, we also got to take away 3D printers because people are 3D printing guns now. Mm-hmm. So there is no answer to just taking. You're never going to just take away guns. It's just not going to happen. So how do we do this in a realistic way? And
say we do get more security and more cops. Mm-hmm. The liberals are going to like, well, there's not enough diversity with these cops and these security. So then we got to hire transgender security. It's never going to be good enough.
Just some transgendered cop on a Segway.
If we have a transgender cop, I think everyone will calm down.
It's true.
I say you just make law enforcement transgender.
All across the board.
We're good.
Oh everyone. God, so many cops would be killing themselves.
In black and white transgenders.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what your skin color is if you're transgender, just as long as you're transgender. You're now law enforcement. We're figuring this out, people.
So this is step one. It's a good thing to like a platform to run on, at least.
Yeah.
You get the whole left involved.
If I was running for mayor of Parma now in 2022 and I was on the radio, I would say I want all transgender police officers complete. Let's run the police organization like Netflix.
I love it. I love it.
But what if somebody kills a transgender cop? Then there's a bigger issue. Then
that's a hate crime.
Now we're doing. Oh fuck!
Lock him up and throw away the key.
But what if a transgender cop kills a black man, an unarmed black man? What do we do then? This is the stuff we need to think about. We're a think tank.
I don't know.
Not a news organization.
It's rough.
So that's transgender kills an unarmed black man, and is that a hate crime?
You'd have to hope that it'd be a black transgender.
Do we protest against transgenders?
Yeah. You'd have that one specific one. LeBron James would find him.
Oh yeah, LeBron would call him out on Twitter. Yeah, especially if it was a white transgender.
Oh,
they're the worst.
Get out of here. Especially if they were a trans man, right? Like you were a woman and you wanted to be a man, right?
Yeah, if Lia Thomas became a cop,
ooh,
and she shot an unarmed black guy, would she no, because she's white,
and technically a woman now, so it's a little less.
But if RuPaul became a cop and shot an unarmed black guy, we're good.
That wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's shit that we need to, we just had this idea, so we really need to iron some of this stuff out. But I think that this is going to work in the long run.
Yeah.
And if it works, on this scale, why not look at the Army next?
There you go. Make the military. Do we make them trans too, or do we make them? What do we make?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Oh, then make the Navy. And then we can, I got a great idea. It just fits right into Hollywood. We'll make the Navy transgender. Mm-hmm. And then Hollywood can buy into this. Instead of Top Gun, we'll have transgender gun.
Ooh, yeah. And see, with the Navy, you can't call them seamen anymore. You got to call them sea people.
See people. No, see things.
See things. See they. See they.
See her. See they. See they.
See they them.
Dude, I will go see transgender gun for sure.
Oh, I like it.
And Lieutenant Pete Mitchell identifies as a her. What's Pete Mitchell's name? He has to change it to Patricia Mitchell.
Patricia is obvious.
Captain Patricia Mitchell. She's going to lead a top secret mission of transgender naval aviators. By the way, the top.
Patty's requesting a flyby, permission for a flyby.
Negative, Patty. The pattern's full. Patty, I don't like this shit.
Patty, my office now.
I'm too close for dicks. I'm switching to vaginas. I don't know. Dude, can we get transgender gun financed? I mean, it is a blockbuster waiting to happen on Netflix.
That sounds like something that Kickstarter would just put on their main page.
So
or
would Goose
GoFundMe or whatever. Yeah.
And Goose would be hen. Has hen
yeah.
We gotta
or geese.
No, it's just called trans gun. Trans gun. Yeah. I gotta do something here. I gotta send I gotta do something here. I gotta send she, him, you two characters the trans gun. You two will be going up against the best transgenders in the Navy.
One day your pilot comes down and says, "Hey, I'm really feeling like a submarine driver this morning. I think I'm going to take out the sub instead of the airplane."
You two he-these, you two he-hims were number two. Cougar was number one. Cougar lost it, turned in his wings. Now you two clowns are number one.
I love it.
Permission to get out of this flight suit and put on a dress. Trans guns.
Yeah, you don't have to ask permission for that. That's what we fight for.
That's the name
fight for that, right?
That's the name of this episode, Trans Gun.
Trans Gun.
And don't you fucking steal it. If you're listening, if you're a Hollywood executive, hey, yeah. Whitney, if you're listening to this,
ours.
Whitney, I know you sold Two Broke Girls, you rebooted Roseanne, you sold movies. If I see Whitney Cummings, executive producer of Trans Gun, you're done. You're done. This is time dated. This is May 31st, 2022.
Yep, 1:35 p.m. Eastern time.
I will take legal action, Whitney Cummings. Unless you give me a role in Trans Gun and a producer.
You could be Patty.
I'll play Patty. I kind of look like a overweight Tom Cruise. Like, I got the teeth. Shit. I got the smile. Well, this was a fun episode.
This was a good one.
I hope Rex liked it.
He won't.
Hey, Frank, I know it was Memorial Day weekend, but write in for next week.
Please. Yeah.
I've been talking a lot of shit about Chrissy. So, listen, guys, leave a 5-star review. Sign up to the Patreon if you can. Come on, guys. Let's catch this motherfucker, this Tim Dillon, who allegedly just bought a $400 million house in the Hamptons. Did you see that article?
No way. 400 million?
Here, let me pull it up.
That's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, maybe it was a conspiracy theory article. Let me pull it up. I just read it the other day.
400 million.
Yeah. Where was it?
I'll listen to 40 million.
No, it's 4 million. My apologies.
4 million is way different.
I was thinking of 4 million. Comedian Tim Dillon slaps down 4 million for Hampton spread.
Well, that's easy.
That's not easy.
For him.
Yeah. So I'm hearing through comedic friends that news story is not exactly true. Another page click nonsense. But let's check out Tim's Patreon real quick before we roll out. It's a tradition on the Sit Down Zumock podcast. Let's pull it up right now. Okay, yeah. $223,000 a month. There it is. So sign up to my Patreon for as little as $3. By the way, Tim's charging $5 at his lowest. I'm charging $3, guys. I'm just saying you're getting a better deal.
It's true.
Seriously, come listen to make Tyler and I make fun of the world. We're having a good time doing it. And all your guys' craziness and all the crazy news stories. Go to Tyler's website if you need anything, video, audio, start out your own podcast, just editing, anything you want. He can do it. This guy's good. He's good.
Let me know.
Let him know. And we will talk next Tuesday. This will be out on Wednesday on Patreon. Thank you so much. Let's count the votes and bring home the troops.
Yes. Lia Thomas for Olympics.
Yes. When's the next Olympics?
I don't know.
2020 something. Lia Thompson.
This decade.
Lia Thomas. Lia Thompson was in Back to the Future. Never mind.